Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. The exercise that we are going to do today is on your screen. We have already seen all the drawing tools, so this one should be rather easy. So let's begin. I've already opened Catia, so let me just close this default file and create a new part document. Let me just give it a name. And go to the sketcher straight away. Now what you see is an outer profile basically, and in the middle there is a hexagon in a certain orientation. So I'll first start by creating the outer profile as I see fit. I'll make it a rough profile, something like this, you can see. Okay, so something like this. And try and be careful. If not able to apply certain constraints, I can of course apply them afterwards. Now this line is supposed to be vertical, so I'll right click on the line, make it vertical. Okay, like this. This line needs to be horizontal. Okay, so I'll make it horizontal. Also this line needs to be vertical, so I'll right click, make it vertical. Okay, so this is how I apply geometrical constraints to basically bring my profile closer to what I desire, right? Now there is a hexagon in the middle. I'll come to that later on, but let me just first apply some dimensional constraints. Okay, so this line is supposed to be 150, so I'll apply a dimensional constraint and edit it to the value of 150. Okay, this line needs to be 60, so let me just make it 60. I'll double click to edit the value 60. Okay, and this line needs to be 30, so let me just apply constraint of 30 to this. This line needs to be 30 as well. Okay, so it will be 32. Okay, right now. Okay, so this is more or less done. Now before I make a hexagon, as you can see that I applied 30 constraint to this line, but it was also supposed to be applied to this line, right? It has not happened because this line is not coinciding with this line. If I can make these two lines coincide, basically you'll have this constraint applied to this line as well. Okay, so I'll select this line, I'll press Ctrl key and I'll select this line too, then go to constraint define in dialog box and apply coincidence constraint. Okay, this O thing that you see here, it is a coincidence constraint, and now these two lines are 30 as you can see, right? Now this distance is 150, although it has not been indicated what is the location of this line or this line with respect to vertical, but it makes sense that we make these two as vertical, these two verticals symmetrical about this vertical axis, these two lines symmetrical about this vertical axis, or alternatively you can coincide one of the line with the vertical, okay, and one of the lines with the horizontal. That also makes sense. Okay, but I prefer to make things like symmetrical, so I'll select this line and select this vertical axis and go to constraint define in dialog box and then apply the symmetry constraint. Okay, also these two lines that you see here, this line and this line, they also need to be symmetrical. Okay, I can make, because this portion is sort of symmetrical about these two, right? So I can make these two lines also symmetrical about vertical. Okay, so I'll apply it using this. It's your choice. I'll select this line, I'll select this line, and then I'll right click, go to allow symmetry line and select the vertical axis, okay, as my symmetrical axis. Okay, now this is more or less done, but can you see that this profile, outer profile, can still move in space in this direction because its location is not known with respect to this horizontal axis. Okay, so I can either coincide this line with the horizontal, okay, that also would look good. I can also make these two lines as symmetrical about horizontal. Okay, I want to make this as, I want to make this line coincide with horizontal. Okay, so that looks good to me. That is also okay. So let me just select this as coincidence constraint. Okay, so now it will not move. Okay, now I need a hexagon in the middle. Okay, hexagon can be made using this particular option which is present in profile toolbar, hexagon. Okay, I'll make it somewhere. Okay, something like this. Okay, now I know certain things about hexagon, that is that side to side distance is basically 35. So let me just apply that first. Apply this distance as 35. You can choose any two sides. Okay, this is 35. Okay, I also know that this particular line has an angle of 30 with respect to the horizontal. Okay, so I've already moved this line to, I've moved horizontal, I've actually coincided this line with the horizontal, so I can either delete this coincidence constraint and then apply the constraint, or I can apply this constraint with respect to any of the lines that is horizontal, or even with this. Okay, it's my choice. So let it stay this way and let me apply the constraint. Let me just first position it so that it's easier to apply the constraint. Okay, something like this. Okay, this constraint value is 30, right? So I'll double click and apply a constraint of 30, right? But it's still not constrained. As you can see, it can move in space, right? Because this point's location is known from this line. Okay, so I can apply a distance of, I can apply a distance of 32 from this point, right? From this line, this distance is 32, as I can see. Okay, it is still not coincident, it's still not constrained. Okay, it can still move in space, right? So what I can do is I can either make this point as equidistant point from these two lines, or I can make this point as coincident to vertical. It's my choice. Okay, let me just rather make it as symmetrical equidistant point. Okay, so I'll select two lines first and then the point, and I'll go for equidistant point. Okay, so that also makes it sort of iso-constraint. Okay, I'm not really sure if this was a good idea to constrain, so I'll delete this coincident constraint and rather make this line and this line symmetrical about horizontal. Okay, so let me just make those as symmetrical, something like this. Okay, so this looks better instead. Okay, now I need to keep in mind that even though the polygon or the hexagon that we have made is surrounded by lines, but those are constructional lines, so those don't count as sketch. And the sketch basically satisfies all the conditions that we have, that the sketch should be closed, it should not be self-intersecting, it should be fully constrained, and there should be no standard point. Right? So this is our second sketch, and it was made rather easily. If you were able to create the first sketch, this one should really be a piece of cake. So I'd suggest you make it on your own, and if you face any issues, just mention it in the comment. I'll try and reply. If you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.